Songs and Execution of Joe Hill, David Kayach. Industrial Revolution took hold in America in the early 1900s, creating new industries, new sources of wealth, and new classes of laborers, whose livelihood was limited to meager wages. In reaction to harsh working conditions and low wages, labor unions began to be organized, some with revolutionary intentions. In fear of political revolution, governmental institutions reacted to labor organization with violent oppression, beatings, and false imprisonment. Joe Hill, a member of the Revolutionary Union, the Industrial Workers of the World, strengthened the movement towards labor organization by writing songs that would unite workers across the nation. In 1914, Joe Hill was arrested, tried, and condemned for murder on charges that cannot be substantiated. On November 19, 1915, he was executed by a firing squad in a Salt Lake City prison yard. Joe Hill's execution only strengthened the resolve of workers to organize, to reform many of the harsh working conditions associated with the Industrial Revolution. With all peaceful leniency being denied by Governor William Sprite of Utah, Joe Hill now stands before a firing squad, his life flashing before his eyes. Look at the steady rifle, Joe. It's all over now.
Murder, first degree.
So the jury said. It's too late now to go back. Back to when I arrived in the United States in 1902, with thousands of other immigrants from Sweden during a period of rapid industrial growth. The Industrial Revolution created labor-saving devices, and industries were booming. But millions of people were also wandering from place to place looking for work. We worked wherever we could find a job in fields, mines, docks, railroads, and factories. Machines and specialized jobs forced us to work faster, without rest, and earn low wages. Women and children under 14 years old worked next to me, earning an even smaller fraction of my low wages. Countless workers were crippled by unsafe machines, but the bosses only seemed to care for their pockets. When I heard that a revolutionary union, the Industrial Workers of the World, was organizing strikes to confront businesses, I joined and reacted by writing songs. Would you from misery and hunger be free? Come on, do your share, lend a hand. There is power in a band of working folks when they stand hand in hand. That's the power that must rule in every land. One industrial union brand. The industrial workers also reacted to the conditions of the Industrial Revolution with strikes. Remember Lawrence, Massachusetts? One big strike. We were 23,000 strong from every neck of every woods in America. The strike is your weapon. To hell with politics. We knew we could not fight the factory owners at the battle box. How could we? A large portion of the workers, including women, children, immigrants, and Southern blacks, were not able to vote. So we joined a revolutionary union, the Industrial Workers of the World. Our only weapon is the revolutionary strike, to put the profits into the hands of the people who did the actual work. I'm writing songs to unite the working class, because a pamphlet, no matter how good, is never read more than once. But a song is learned by heart and repeated over and over. We will strike with songs. Workers of the world, awaken! Break your chains, demand your rights. All the wealth you make is taken by exploiting parasites. Shall you kneel in deep submission from your cradle to your grave? Is the height of your ambition to be good and willing slaves? Arise, ye prisoners of starvation, fight for your own emancipation. Arise, ye slaves of every nation, in one union. I've counted the stars, boys. Counted millions of these prison bars. Remember the singing, Joe? One big union. But always their jails shutting out the sky. I was arrested for murder on January 10th, 1914. Put on trial and sentenced to death for something I didn't do because I was a threat. The reaction of Governor William Spry was typical. The IWW is fascinating to be a universal menace to the public peace, a standing threat against the good order of the community everywhere. Wherever its members appear, there are riots and fighting. They want to destroy the wage system. Their strikes are lawlessness. We are imprisoning the strikers and hope that the law will deal with them to prevent future outbreaks. We even arrested Joe Hill, a union songwriter, on murder charges. Everyone is singing his songs in jails, street meetings, union halls, and picket lines. And now, letters and telegrams are pouring into my office demanding a pardon for people. Listen to this one from President Wilson. I, again, venture to urge upon Your Excellency the justice and advisability of a thorough reconsideration of the case of Joseph Wilson, with jurors. Well, that appeal finally fell on my deaf ears. I roared him back and said, I cannot and will not lend myself or my office to such interference. Hill's execution on November 19th, 1915 by firing squad will proceed. The IWW in the early 1900s began a process that enabled the Congress of Industrial Organizations to successfully establish labor unions in the 1930s. The IWW strike stirred the country and drew national attention to questions of worker safety, wages, and work hours. Today, many workers are beneficiaries of these early labor struggles. Blood was shed. Many were thrown in jail before the reforms, such as safety laws, minimum wage laws, the 40-hour work week, and workers' compensation were granted to workers. Today, Joe Hill is recognized as a labor hero who dedicated his life and death to bettering the lives of workers in the United States. The issues that Joe Hill faced are still being debated today, but what began as an effort to overthrow capitalism by a revolutionary action instead resulted in reforms of the most harmful aspects of the Industrial Revolution. If we listen, we can still hear Joe Hill. I hate to lay down as long as there's a fighting chance. I do want a new trial, a fair trial. If I cannot have a new trial, I am willing to give my blood as a martyr. The cause I stand for, working class emancipation, is worth more than human life, much more than mine. I die like a true rebel. Don't waste time mourning. Organize! What do they matter, Joe? These mass rifles. They can reach the towns, the skies, the songs, which are now part of more than any of us. We were the homeless, the drifters, but our songs had hair and blood on them. Let them burn us, hang us, shoot us! For at the last, we had what it takes to make songs. Look at the steady rifles, Joe.
If you managed to get that one time back that well, that would have been
portray the revolutions and to portray the reactions. So and then I used a program called InDesign to put the pictures into the portrait and change the gradient so they can overlap with each other and enlarge the pictures.
How did you do the central panel?
Well, same thing, just put the bullet holes, and actually those are the same exact placements as the bullet holes shot into Joe by the 4 rifles. So, you know, just add it like this.
One more question. Why did you do individual performances? I recall the last 2 years you've done group performance.
Yes, I decided to do an individual performance because I just wanted, well, because group performance sometimes there can be so many difficulties. One has this opinion, one has this opinion. So to get away from that, I just wanted to have my own opinion and go straight forward.
As judges, we understand that different opinions.
Do you see anybody today, kind of like a Joe Hill, considering all the problems that we're having with workers and state governments trying to take away bargaining rights, unions, and that sort of thing? Is there anybody out there that kind of strikes a chord with you?
Not really, but yeah, unions are still present today, but there's a lack of organizing people into the unions, but they're still available.
So we're waiting for the Joe Hill to come along and
Hopefully.
stir up their little song.
And how did you come to choose Joe Hill and the Workers' Revolution?
Well, so first I decided to choose the early labor movement. So as I began my general research, I read some of the labor songs and poems and realized that most of the authors were by a man named Joe Hill. So I decided to do further research on that, and I saw that Joe Hill, by writing his songs, this was a reaction towards the inhumane working and living conditions of the working poor. And he wrote these to unite the workers into a union so they could stand up and fight for their rights.
All the sources that you've cited here, is there any one that you found was most inspiring?
Yeah, for me the most inspiring or best primary source was actually Joe Hill's songs. And the thing that surprised me was his songs were simple and direct in nature. And this nature of the songs is able, so his songs, they spread throughout the entire United States from corner to corner. And even people who were uneducated, because it was able to unite people, unskilled workers, skilled workers, people from different races, people who didn't even speak English in different languages, he was able to unite them. Also, his songs were able, through his songs, caused revolutionary tensions to grow throughout the United States, which fanned fancy flames for the government.
Last question. Was there any public outcry or reaction to his execution?
Yes, actually, well, even before the execution, so many people, like Woodrow Wilson, sent letters to the Swedish ambassador, and many lawyers in the United States saw that he was innocent. And even today, the New York Times and LA Times see him as innocent and as a labor hero. So, but even after that, like after his death, it even caused more revolutionary tensions to grow, which caused even more people to come and join the movement. Thank you.